Good afternoon, ladies. I am very grateful to be here sharing this afternoon and lunch with you. There is a theory that if you put a bean in a jar every time you have sex before you're married, and you take a bean out of the jar every time you have sex after you're married, you will never empty the jar. Interesting theory, isn't it? I remember being out for drinks with a friend who had been in a marriage of over 20 years. And at that time, I was just in the early phases of my relationship with Robert, my husband. If I hold it down here, can you hear me? Okay. And so in these early phases, as you can imagine, our jar was filling quickly. And my friend, not so many beans were leaving her jar. I remember her sharing with me that one of the things that she hated the most was when her husband crawled into bed at night and cuddled up behind her. All she wanted was for him to get that thing out of her back. Maybe some of you can relate, and maybe some of you can't. I will never forget those words because I was stunned that a woman would even feel that way. And then I felt great sadness for her. And of course, it was never happening to me. So you know what that means, don't you? So after marriage and children, there wasn't much activity in that bean jar, I'm telling you. So Robert and I, we tried so many different things that are normal in our culture. We watched movies together. We read erotica. I even wore the outfits, you know, the sexy lingerie and the tall high-heeled boots. And we made promises to each other. Robert promised to connect with me more deeply emotionally. And I promised to be more receptive to him sexually. And it didn't work. It was like the more he desired me, the more I shut down. And the more I shut down, the more distant he became. We were caught up in this vicious cycle that we couldn't step out of. And this went on for many, many years until Robert said to me that it was less painful for him to hate me than it was for him to love me. Feeling dirty, ashamed, and damaged, I hid my story. We're going to take a moment now so we can all do a silent, personal inventory of our stories. So I invite you to quietly within yourself answer the following questions. Have you ever had a miscarriage? Given a child up for adoption? Had an abortion? Perhaps you haven't been able to have children. Have you used your sexuality to manipulate? Have you performed duty sex? Have you given yourself away for love? Have you stopped having sex? Are you addicted to sex? Have you cheated? Been cheated on? Been the mistress? Been the recipient of an STD? Been raped? Felt shame or embarrassment about your body? Or been looked at, spoken to, or touched inappropriately in any way by anybody? Now, had I asked you to stand if you answered yes to any of those questions, how many of us do you think would be standing right now? All of us. We would not be alone. Feeling dirty, ashamed, and damaged, she hid her story, not knowing that the woman next to her also hid hers, and the next woman, and the next. I have cheated, been cheated on, been a mistress, been the recipient of an STD, I've been date raped, I have performed duty sex, I have given myself away for love. I have been spoken to, looked at, and touched inappropriately. Finally, someone whispered the truth. And their eyes met, and their tears came. Their heads nodded softly, and their arms reached out. We are not alone in our shame, and we are not our stories. We have a choice, and we can take action. And when we take action, we can dissolve the feelings of unworthiness, of isolation, of not having the confidence as women to ask for what we want and need. And one of the bonuses of realizing that we're not alone is that it creates compassion. And when we create compassion, we no longer have to compete, judge, and compare with each other. Holding each other gently, telling their stories, the healing began. Now, we all have a wellspring of potential that lives right inside our body. That quite often is the home of all these stories. And this place is our pelvic bowl. It is our ovaries, our fallopian tubes, our uteruses, and our vaginas. And sadly enough, our religion and our cultures have diminished the importance of these parts of us being a woman over many thousands of years. And it doesn't matter whether we actually have these physical organs or not, the energy of the potential of what we're capable of still lives in our bodies. It is our root. It is the center of our physical body. It's the center of our energetic body. It is where our authentic power, our wild woman, and our feminine essence lives. When we can come home to this part of our bodies and awaken that feminine essence that lives within us, we shine brilliantly. And when we learn how to heal, transform, and utilize the energy that resides in our wombs, we become a magnetic force. When we go out into the world and we are engaged with our intellect and our hearts, and we're not connected in our womb space or in our pelvic bowl, our root, we are not engaging fully in our lives. We're showing up as talking heads, or we're showing up from the heart up, and we're not fully embodied. And when we begin to become fully embodied, we notice that there's less imbalances in our life. Because if we're not integrating all three parts of our being, there is going to be some sort of imbalance in our external world, whether it be with our health, our relationships, our careers, our finances, or our creative endeavors. So it's really about building a relationship with ourselves and our bodies. And I would like to guide you all on a exploration that will give you a tool that you can take with you to get you started. And I promise it doesn't include mirrors. So I'm going to invite you to get comfortable in your chairs and uncrossing your legs and your arms. And taking a baseline, just gathering how you're feeling in this very moment. And connecting with your breath. Just allowing your breath to effortlessly flow in and out of your body. Just allowing your breath to make its way down through your shoulders and your back and your chest and your heart, your solar plexus. And guiding your breath down into your pelvic bowl. And inviting yourself to do an internal scanning, observing the top rim of your pelvic bowl, caressing the sides, bringing your awareness and attention to the front and the back, giving your perineums and your vaginas a little squeeze to light up the base of your bowl. Inviting your breath to caress all the vaginal tissue, the pelvic floor, your cervix. Allow your awareness and your breath to meander and make its way through your ovaries, your fallopian tubes, into your uterus. And taking a moment here to allow your pelvic bowl and all that it contains to breathe in unison with your breath. And now bringing your awareness to the very center of this powerful center in your body. It's about 3 inches below your belly button, and moving back and into your body to the very center. And envisioning a light that lives in this spot. This is the place from where your radiance shines forth throughout your whole being and all around you. And on your in-breath, envisioning the light expanding, and on your exhale, having it gently contract to its original size. Inhaling and expanding, exhaling and contracting. And now just allowing that light to come to a place of stillness. And staying connected to this place, I invite you to open your eyes and take a look around. Does anybody feel any different at all? Nobody feels different? Thank you, Francis. I think we were just... So my invitation to you is the more that you practice being fully present in your life, the easier it becomes just to be second nature. So then whenever you are engaging with anybody, you are just there and present in your body. And it makes a huge difference when you're talking with your lover, the lady at the bank, your children, or even when you're just sitting by yourself. I encourage you to do it when you're walking your dog, doing your dishes, or sitting alone. Because people will start responding to you differently, and you actually will begin to receive them differently. Our confidence, our creative capabilities, and our sense of belonging, they really do have a compelling relationship with what anatomically makes us women. Our sexuality is not separate from our spirituality. Our sexuality is not separate from our professional lives or any of our relationships. It is what gives us our life force energy, and it feeds every single aspect of our lives, whether we like it or not. I am very grateful for the turmoil that was created in my marriage and my life for losing my sexual desire. I am grateful because it showed me the importance of creating this amazing relationship with myself at such intimate levels. It taught me that my fertility organs aren't just for menstruating, having sex, and procreation. And it really has allowed me to surrender into healthy, intimate relationships. And I'm very happy to say that the beans are moving out of the jar once again. Actually, this Friday, Robert and I are celebrating our 16th wedding anniversary. So, thank you. We have come such a long way as women, and we have so much power within us that we are not tapping into. Our gifts and our powers are not the same as our male counterparts. They're complementary. Our gifts and powers lie in our intuition, in our emotions, and in our sensuality. So ladies, the time is now for us to stand up, to reclaim our bodies and connect deeply with our feminine essence and take the wild woman off of the endangered species list.